Alrighty guys, welcome back. Hopefully you're all doing fantastic. In an attempt to make content more frequently, this is the third day in a row, so hopefully you're enjoying the content. Go check out my other videos, the last few, if you want to, if you have some free time. But today we're going to talk about, can you get rich from selling options on Opendoor stock? And if you're new, I've been trying to sell options for well over a year now to make some extra income and turn it into an extra income stream. And so far, I think it's been working out pretty well. There's been ups and downs, but overall, I've made progress investing this way with some of my money. Now, majority of it, I actually just put in index funds and I leave it alone, and I'll get to it, eventually, hopefully when retirement comes. But I wanted to see if I can make selling options work, and thus here we are. And if at any point you are wanting to learn more about selling options and want to help out the channel, I do have a course. It's linked down below. I made it pretty affordable. You can go check it out and decide if selling options is right for you. But if you have been living under a rock for the last month or so, maybe it hasn't been quite a month, Opendoor stock went from under $1 to now over $9. You can see stock has recently experienced elevated volatility. I think yesterday over 1 billion shares were traded in one day alone. I don't know if I've ever seen a stock traded so much in one day. And I have quite a lot of shares. It didn't initially start this way. I've just added over time. And I've been selling options on Opendoor stock. And what do I mean by that? Well, I own all of these shares of Opendoor stock. And what I can do is sell a covered call. So if we go to trade options on Opendoor and I switch to selling a call, let's say I have 100 shares. I can look at expirations of next Friday and maybe at 12.50 is the strike price that we're going to go with. You can see I sold 2 at 11.50 and I sold 1 at 13. Let's stick with this 12.50, and this is saying if Opendoor goes above 12.50, the buyer of this call has the right to purchase 100 shares of Opendoor off of me for 12.50, even if Opendoor goes all the way to like 15. And because I'm taking on this risk that I may potentially cap my gains, I am getting paid in premium. So I'm getting paid right here $37 for selling this one covered call on 100 shares of Opendoor. You may ask, why would anyone do this? Well, because the majority of the time, if you aren't super risky with your positions, you can make that $37 and Opendoor is never going to reach this amount. Of course, that's not a guarantee. It depends, the risk and what strike you go with. But let's say Opendoor doesn't reach 12.50. I still pocket my $37 and I can look at making another trade in the future. And this, if you do it in a loop, if you picture it like going in a circle, is how you can continuously create income selling these covered calls. And so I also have this web app, and it's on selloptions.net. And I created this because I used to manually track all of the options that I sold. And this would tell me how much I'm making total from selling options. And that became way too time consuming. So I created this to read in my Robinhood statement and tell me instantly how much I'm making from selling options. You can go check this out too if you sell options on Robinhood and want to try this out. But I'm going to upload yesterday's statement, so Thursday, and then we're also going to look at today's statement as well. We're going to see how much I made and then how much of that was from selling options on Opendoor stock. So the first one here, it should be of yesterday, and we can see it is. I made a total of $711 in premium, all from selling options. And that also breaks it down by ticker symbol. And we can see $410 yesterday alone I made from selling options on Opendoor. And here's what's also cool that we didn't mention. Let's say I purchased 100 shares of that Opendoor stock that we're selling at a call option at 12.50. And let's say I do end up having to sell my 100 shares. And I paid $6 a piece for each one of those 100 shares. That's my average cost. Well, I still make whatever the difference is from this minus my average cost. So I still get that capital appreciation too. So it's not like I'm selling them at 12.50 and not making that capital appreciation, because I am. And so when I sell covered calls, if these become assigned, not only am I making the 410, but I'm also making whatever that appreciation is, which is the difference between where I bought the shares versus what I sold them at. So this was yesterday. I made $410 selling calls on Opendoor. Let's see today's file. We can see this is today, September 12th. Not as much on Opendoor, but still, I think a substantial amount, right? This is 13 Chipotle bowls right here. $134 from selling options on Opendoor today. And so my question at the very beginning was, can you get rich from selling options on Opendoor? And I guess it depends what your definition of rich is. It's probably not $400 a day or $134 a day. But I think I'm making pretty good money selling options on the stock. And yes, this is temporary. This isn't going to be a long-term hold for me, these Opendoor shares. At least I don't think it is. Things could change. This is something that I saw a lot of volatility on, and I took advantage of that volatility and tried to make some income selling options using that volatility. Because the more volatility on a stock, the more premium you typically get for your options when you sell them. And I mean, the same even goes for puts. If we want to potentially purchase 100 shares of Opendoor at a lower price than it is currently, I can look at selling an $8 strike put and use $800 as collateral in case I have to purchase 100 shares at $8. But I'm getting paid $54. And then if it never goes below $8 by next Friday, I don't have to worry about buying 100 shares. I keep that $54 and I can pay bills with this. I can put it into my savings account. I can put it into shares of my favorite stock. I can do whatever I want with it. And $54 from an $800 collateralized holdup of my money is quite a lot. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this and want to learn more about selling options, go check out my course for beginners. It teaches you everything you need to know to get started selling your own options if you decide to do so. And I hope to see you in a future video.